like I said, I'm starting on getting prepared, which means resew these up here to make sure they can sit with the carabiner or soft shackle, whatever I gotta make to make sure it's able to be worked and tied up. So that's that. I'll look into getting some bead buckles temporarily or something that's similar to pull up the hammock until I can get to the USA, or I can get my other ones shipped out and get the proper ones again. But meanwhile, this is now going to go into the snakeskins. So since I don't have the right stuff to do this the correct way, what I'm doing is just pulling this one over the top of it and I feed it to that side and then clip it on to bead here, and then do the same on this side by pulling it down through, and then I have to pull the strap through. As you see, one strap goes through and this can connect into that over there and tie on so it stays on. Same on that side. Okay, over here is my tarp now packed in its separate case. I do this because I like it to be separate, so if it rains it's completely separate. Keeps that off. It's in the snake skin, so I don't have to drop it down every night, but I should attach it because it does give you a better attachment if you use that every night for the same setup, and then do that. My carabiners and straps, they do need to be replaced and done, so I still got to look into that, but I'll do that down the road. The new tent stakes are here. That's just to keep the tarp in place. It's not for anything major. I need to put the rope on that, so I need to decide what kind of rope I'm going to put on it. But I'll probably do that as I head down the road. I'll look for some thinner rope to get that a little better and set up. Well, this year in Vietnam, it's hard to do anything when the weather keeps going to rainstorms. Keep getting rainstorm after rainstorm. So basically, the bike is pseudo ready. Still need to clean it up, but as you see, raining again and rain, so not in a hurry to go anywhere until these rains stop. Normally this has stopped already half a month ago, but this year it seems to be coming really late. Up north of here where I'd be headed, I'd have to cut through some big major storms because that's where it's hitting landfall, the biggest part of the storm. So I'm holding off and waiting it out, and supposedly next week it should be all gone for the season and back to semi-normal. Head up for Christmas to Hanoi. Okay, I've cut my rope. I made one continuous loop already. I'm started on the second continuous loop. Then I got to make the soft shackles, which are over here, which are longer. Kill a few mosquitoes while I'm at it. Basically, I'm using a small little baby screwdriver to get my poke holes through bigger. Cutting off with just a regular knife. I've sharpened up better. And then for the wire, I just took some wire I bent to make the tools to put it in. And as you see, you come through here on the loop, and then you put the frayed end that you thin down in there, thin it by half, and you just got to remember which way to lock the stuff and put it in and dig far enough. Been a while since I've done it, but I got to do this to make the hammock stuff. Once it's pulled through by the tool, you got to make sure you cinch this up nice and tight first before burying the loop inside there. Then it'll bury in and it'll be a nice continuous loop like that one. First step any ham steel project is to separate out half the cords and cut them at about 1 inch from the end, and then cut the excess off so you can taper it in. So again, you can see here the size that's finished and the side that's not finished yet. The tool I mark with a piece of tape to know how far I'm going to cut and measure my berries for that, how many inches in, etc. So I just tape that up, and then the second piece of tape is my actual for my connecting piece. So as you see here, the orange part is there. That's where my berry mark's going to be, depending on the tool I'm using. So berry I'm going to cut into here and then pull it through, and then do the same on the other side to get it through to do the first part of the lock of the continuous loop. So you can see here how this tool works. It's just two pieces of wire. It goes around the thin end, then it pokes the hole through the middle of the two strands, and then I pull it through that side there, and that'll give me stage one. Now I've reached stage one, so I'm going to pull this, measure it, and then do the same on the other side. You see how it just goes through the middle of that. So again, you see the tape is at the end of the rope, and that's where the point is, so that's where I'm going to poke the second hole through, then pull the other one through. So again, you can see like the other side, I pulled it through there, you see the little hole there, now I'm pulling it through this side here, it's pulling through, and then I'll cinch up. End up with something that looks like this, then these two will pull together. And I'll pull those together, so I just pull the two slack ends. You can see it pulls it, oops, pulls it together. Then I got to do the berries. So now that it's pulled tight, I'm going to start the berries, which means I come back on the rope past the mark here, and then go a little farther back by about an inch to make sure the berry goes in properly, and I pull out up here as close as I can to this spot up here. At this stage, you can check your loops and see if they're going to sort of be the same size. No tool will be exactly 100% the same size. Not so easy unless you're going to really take your time and do it. Okay, you can see here the tool is all the way pushed through. It's scrunched up here. It's connected to the end here. Then I'm just going to take this and then I'll start pulling it through. So it pulls in. And once it pulls in, it'll just go inside there. It'll start pulling in like it's doing there. Then I'll pull it all the way through to that end. Then once you've worked it through, it looks something like this. And then you go on to the next stage of milking it back out. Stage one. Okay, update. Last night I made all the different little things here I need for the hammock setup, or part of it. So I've got my dog hairs, or my dog bones. I've got my 4 continuous loops. I've got my 4 soft shackles, but I need to make lockers for that. I've got 2 different types of hopefully not cinch buckles, but they'll work like cinch buckles. My extra rope for the rest of the stuff on the hammock. And then of course here's my new strap material. So I've got to cut that and sew 2 ends up so it goes around a tree and locks, and then the sliders will slide up and down. So that's my project right now. One of them. Okay, the main update these days is I've been here for about a month. Normally I would say in a month's period of time I'm on the road already within a week or 2. But because we've had nothing but, for the month and a half, back-to-back, what they call them, typhoons here. We call them hurricanes. But had 4 of them in a row, about a week apart. So we had that floods that I posted. Many places are still cleaning up. The last typhoon just hit about a day or so ago, but it hit north of here, where I would have been headed with the bike. So that's kind of wiped out. There's 2 bridges that are completely gone on the highway. So have to go around it quite a bit inland. So I have to find out what's going on there. They're getting the rains right now for the next couple days. So that's kind of flooded them out. So they're being flooded. So can't go up there because of the floods. So might have to fly around or do something else. Still waiting on my friend to get to Thailand and see what his story is and what he's got to do. And then visiting my friend for her birthday up in Hanoi on the 20th. So things to do and get ready, but I got to practice hanging the hammock there and see how the system's going to work. Too many little things, and basically a lot of cleanup has been the thing. The bike's here, pressure washed it, cleaned it, but still need to get it actually on the road. But with the mud and the stuff on the roads right now, I'm just not wanting to take it out there, do all that stuff yet until it's a little less crowded, a little less junk, so I don't have to worry about getting hit or run over and everything else that goes on with everybody that's busy trying to salvage their stuff. Well, I wish I could say I was back on the road and riding and doing everything, but by the looks of everything and the weather out there, change it so you can see the weather, still the clouds, still the other stuff. So with the weather the way it is, it's going to be probably at least another 4 days before I can finish up anything, get ready. By then, my friend that's in Thailand will be finding out how his visa stuff is going. So I might have to change plans again. This is the way my life has been most this year. There's been a lot of plan changing, meeting up with friends, helping them out and doing stuff. So the bike riding's been about 50% of the time as opposed to usual. So it's a lot more sitting around, but travel has been getting more and more difficult, as I've pointed out to people. Air travel with a bike is expensive now and harder, so at least I have a bike on each end, but I'm still finishing up all the setups of having the bikes on both ends, getting things worked out with friends and places and storing stuff and being able to store, visit mom in between stuff since she's getting older. About twice a year I want to try to visit her now these days, each time before I transfer to the next phase of my trip. So this upcoming trip is either going to be fly to Thailand, ride around from Thailand, back through Laos, back across Vietnam, into China, then China north up towards Japan. Or the subject is headed north from here to Hanoi in that area, visit friends, do everything there, hang out until after the new year, visit mom from there, do a flight in and out. I've got to do it early enough in January that I still have enough time on my visa to come back to Vietnam. And then from Vietnam, start China up north in February. Work my way up Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, through China all the way up till I can get to Shanghai area and start looking at the ferries, whether or not I take the ferry straight across to Japan or I take the ferry to Korea and then my way across Korea there. And then when towards the end of the season starts, do my loop around back to head towards the south and warm areas of Vietnam, and then further south when winter comes into Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and so on, and spend mostly the next year on this side of the world. So I'll have to have some friends come out and visit me on this side and help them with that stuff. So more difficult than usual, but it is what it is, and life moves on, and take it one day at a time and enjoy it. At least I'm in a warm place where food is cheap and things are okay.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.